Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1879A, and today's date is May 28th, 2019, and the title of the episode is Mainstream Media Breaks Down and Does the Unthinkable. Patriots Are in Control. Now, this is the time of year that most of us have a big old clear out. We get rid of all the stuff that's collected through the winter, hidden away in the back of a cupboard or a file cabinet. There might be a gold mine. Noble Gold can show you how to blow the financial dust off those files, revitalize the dead money, and catapult your retirement savings into orbit. Just for May, to celebrate Memorial Day, they are offering a solid silver Trump 2020 coin and a 10-ounce silver bar for anyone rolling over an IRA or cash deal over $20,000. Talk to the team over at Noble Gold today and call 877-646-5347. Protect your retirement by investing in a gold IRA. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, we are definitely seeing change around the world, and the central bankers, the elite, the establishment, they're not just going to let this happen. They will fight back until the very end, until they can't fight any longer. And we're seeing this with the Brexit. Now, just because Nigel Farage and his party, they're coming out on top, doesn't mean the EU, the central bankers, they're just going to say, you know what, we're just going to go with whatever you want. Of course not. But when we look at the statistics, we can see that the people are telling the elite, the establishment, what they want. They want something completely different than what is being pushed on them. So when we look at the statistics for the Brexit, the majority, 53% of those who voted for the Conservative Party in 2017 general election voted for the Brexit Party in the EU election. Lord Ashcraft's survey of 10,000 voters published Monday also found that 52% of those who voted Tory in the last general election and who switched to the Brexit Party would stay with the Brexit Party in the next national parliamentary vote, with only 1 in 3 saying they would vote Tory again. Now, think about what is happening. People are now switching. But when we look at what these individuals are saying, they're saying the exact opposite of what the people want. Now, as a result, a number of Tory MPs have announced their candidacy, including Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt, the Remain voting minister who says he has since changed his mind on Brexit. Mr. Hunt said that he wanted to solve the Brexit crisis. How was he going to do this? Well, he said, I always believed we should keep no deal on the table and that the UK economy would flourish after the initial shock of no deal, he said. That the only way to deliver Brexit is to go back to the negotiators in Brussels and try to renegotiate Mrs. May's EU-approved withdrawal treaty rather than leave without a deal on October 31st. Think about what he's saying here. He wants to take May's deal that continually got voted down, which is the EU deal, and try to push this. Is this what the people want? No. I mean, he is not reading what the people want. Or is he saying, I know what the people want, but I get paid by the central bank. I don't want to do what the people want. I want to do what the EU wants. And I'm going to push the EU deal. This will fail. Now, the Labour Party, they're out there saying, listen, we know what the people want. The people, well, they want a second referendum. That's where we're going to push. We're going to push the second referendum. No, the people don't want a second referendum. The people already voted in the first referendum. And the people already voted for the Brexit Party. The people are speaking up loud and clear. Guess what? These individuals, they don't want to listen. Well, they are listening, but they don't care what the people say. They only care about following the instructions of the central bank. This is how you know that these people are never going to work for the people. Now, Nigel Farage, on the other hand, he's listening. Hopefully, he follows through. Hopefully, they win the elections. Hopefully, they're calling the shots. But remember, The EU, the central banking system, they're always going to try to fight back no matter what until the very end. Remember, they have a lot on the line right now because once the UK, and I do believe this is going to happen, once they vote themselves away and they do it with a no deal, and the UK does very, very well and the economy flourishes and countries decide to make trade deals with them, well, the EU is going to look pretty darn bad. And other countries like Hungary and Italy and the rest, they're going to say, why are we even part of the EU? Look what happened to the UK. This is their worst nightmare. And this is why they're fighting so hard to keep the UK in the EU. They don't want anyone to find out. They don't want anyone to realize what the truth is. The truth is their enemy. Now, here in the United States, the central bank system, and we know that there are two things happening here. We have the central bank system, which is completely collapsing. It cannot be sustained. We've been looking at this for quite a while. This is not a surprise that housing, their prices are starting to fall, that the housing market is imploding. Remember what they stopped. They stopped stimulus. Guess what else the Federal Reserve did? They raised rates. Remember, the only reason everything was being pushed up in this bubble was because they were pushing stimulus and they were keeping the rates steady or lowering the rates. When they did the opposite, what happened? This is why we followed all of this, so this wouldn't be a surprise to everyone. Now, when we look at Case-Shiller, we know they took 20 cities and they said, okay, we could take these 20 cities and we can blow up bubbles. They told investment companies, hedge funds, listen, buy as many houses as possible. Don't sell them. Keep them off the market. We're going to drive the prices up. This is exactly what they did. Now, since they were raising rates and they were tightening because they had a completely different plan, everything started to fall apart. Housing prices started to come down. I mean, if we look at the 20-city composite, we see that prices have fallen. They're no longer moving up. What does Trump have to do? He needs the Federal Reserve to start stimulus again. He needs the Federal Reserve to lower rates. Now, is this going to be done to keep the economy the way it is? Yes, long enough so he can win the 2020 elections, because he needs to follow through on the rest of the plan. This wasn't a 4-year plan. It wasn't going to happen in 4 years. Remember what the deep state, what the central banks have been doing. They were trying to get him out of office. He's been fighting that. What else were they trying to do? They were going to bring down the economy so he would never get another 4-year term. Well, he's changed all that, and they're following the plan, and they need to get everything aligned. Why? Because their second half of this plan is to bring down the central bank, and they're going to need 4 years to do this. Does this mean it's going to start, day one when he wins the election? No. It might start in the first year or the second year, but they're going to need this time period. And Trump right now, he is controlling the narrative. Right now, Americans haven't been this confident in the current economy since 2000. And he is using this to his benefit. I mean, think about it. The mainstream media, the central bank, the deep state, the financial pundits, they're all out there saying that, listen, the economy is going to go into a recession in 2020. I mean, they knew exactly when, where, what, and how, and everything else. They knew exactly what was going to go on because they had this plan. They thought the Federal Reserve was going to continually raise rates and the economy was going to go down. That was the information they were being fed. And now what we find out is that the opposite is happening. And now the mainstream media, because the economy is doing so well statistically, and remember, these statistics, this is the weapon they used against the people when they wanted to show the economy was doing well. They said, look at the stock market, look at unemployment numbers, because it's easy to manipulate these numbers. Now we see that CBS, well, they can't skew the poll numbers anymore against Trump. So they have to admit that the economy is doing a lot better now. According to a CBS News poll, 7 in 10 Americans believe the economy is in solid shape, with a quarter of Americans saying the economy is in very good shape. More Americans are understanding Trump's role in improving the economy, in sharp increase from last year. Trump has not only made the Democrats look foolish, but he has also baffled the free trade consensus of the Republican Party, of the deep state, of the central bank. Their predictions of economic doom surrounding his tariffs, well, they haven't come to pass. Let's take a look at some of the texts from the economists and the financial pundits when they were out there tweeting back in 2017 and 2018. Mark J. Perry. More than 1,100 economists signed open letter to Trump and Congress voicing their unified and strong opposition to tariffs, import taxes, and protectionism. And believe me, they were out there saying that if he does this, the economy is going to completely implode on itself. Kyle Griffin. The Trump admin's trade policies could threaten as many as 2.6 million jobs, according to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Now, this was back in 2018, June 1st of 2018. The other tweet was May 3rd, 2018. These predictions did not come true. Remember, the economy that we're in, the central bank economy, it is completely manipulated. And it's not an open free market. Interest rates are not allowed to adjust to the open free market. The stock market is not going up because it's an open and free market. The statistics are manipulated. Trump right now has all the weapons that the deep state, the central banks have been using for a very long time. He can make the economy look any way he wants. This is why these individuals are completely wrong. Now, if he wasn't in control and the Federal Reserve was raising rates and continually tightening, yes, their dire predictions would have come true. They would have said his tariffs, yes, because he implemented them. That is the problem. That's why we're losing jobs. The economists, the 1,100 economists who signed an open letter to Trump and Congress, voicing their unified and strong opposition to tariffs, they would have said, see, we told you so. But Trump, he is controlling everything right now. Remember, he's using everything that they've used in the past. Trump tweeted out the following: great progress being made in our trade negotiations with Japan. Agriculture and beef heavily in play. Much will wait until after their July elections, where I anticipate big numbers. Our economy and job market is booming, the best in the world and in our country's history, and we've just started. Trump is in the process of making America great and prosperous again, and he's doing it by defying the central bank and the globalists. And when he says that we've just started, think about what he's saying. Is he saying that we're going to make this central bank economy the best ever? No, what he's really saying is that once this central bank economy is brought to its knees and it implodes, we're going to take the United States and we're going to show the world what it looks like to have a nation without a central bank. What do you think the economy is going to do without a central bank? It is going to be better than we could ever imagine. That's why he says we have just started. He needs to get rid of this dying central bank economy that does not benefit the people. Remember, it is a private corporation. They loan funds to the government. There's interest attached. They implemented taxes to pay for the interest. Trump is going to do away with all of this. And I'm not just saying Trump himself, the Patriots that are working behind the scenes and working with him. They are going to create a system where the people create their own currency. Think about a people creating their own currency without any interest attached. Well, if there's no interest, guess what? The debt is manageable. If there's no interest, do we need an income tax to pay for the interest on the debt? No. think about how much better the economy is going to be. Now, if we peg the currency to gold or anything else where we have checks and balances, will the currency be devalued like it is with the fiat system where the central bank or other banks can just continually put out currency? No. So if the whatever currency it is, if it's not devalued and it's strong and staying steady, how much better is it going to be for the everyday person? Think about before 1913 and just a little bit after 1913 when we're still on the gold standard. The everyday life of people didn't change that much. We didn't see that much inflation. Everything pretty much stayed stable. You saw a little bit of inflation, but not much. Actually, before the central bank, hardly any. And there's a reason for this. Inflation really means the devaluing of the dollar, which means you need a lot more of those dollars to pay for the same exact thing. If we're not creating all this currency and we peg it to something where you can't create more currency, we don't see inflation, which means a washer that cost $20 today, 10 years from now, it's going to cost $20 or maybe even less because technology gets better and you can mass produce this type of equipment faster, cheaper, and better. So is this going to benefit the people? Absolutely. This is where we are headed. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.